What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and new details are starting to emerge about OceanGate, about Stockton Rush, and about the Titan sub that imploded while diving down to the Titanic. Now, for those of you all who don't know, Stockton Rush was on record saying that he didn't want to hire 50-year-old white guys to help him design his sub. Basically, he wanted to hire young, inexperienced people to work with him. I wonder why. Now, I already told you what I think. I think that Stockton Rush was trying to hide behind the current, woke type of way of thinking. Oh, we don't want 50-year-old white guys. He tried to make himself sound as if he was hip and cool or whatever. But in reality, he didn't want to hire 50-year-old white guys because all of the 50-year-old white guys in the industry already told him that he was out of his mind and that the sub wasn't safe. So I don't think that he was trying to be progressive when not hiring older white men. I think that he was trying to cut corners, and he only wanted to hire young people because, for one, they wouldn't know any better, and for two, they wouldn't have any type of authority over him. But now we're learning that OceanGate indeed hired interns, college-age students, to help them design the sub, and we all know how that turned out. I don't want to place any of the blame on any of these young people who Stockton Rush hired, but at the same time, I do think this is something that needs to be talked about. So without further ado, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, and let's dive right into this article. OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush used college-aged interns to design the electrical system used in the doomed Titan sub that imploded and killed all 5 people on board. Rush, who was among those killed on the sub, had hired interns from Washington State University who would drink the Kool-Aid and boast how a PlayStation remote was used to run the Titan. Deep sea exploration specialist Rob McCullum has revealed. McCullum and other experts said Rush ignored a series of safety warnings that they had flagged while it emerged that a recent graduate of Washington State University had told a student newspaper that he and his classmates worked on the Titan's electrical system. The whole electrical system, that was our design. We implemented it, and it works, the former intern Mark Walsh, who graduated with a degree in electrical engineering, told Washington State University's college newspaper in February 2018. Walsh, who was later hired by OceanGate as an electrical engineering lead, also said he hired a few interns from his alma mater and was keen to hire more. McCullum revealed that Rush had wanted him to run his Titanic operation for him. But when the expert visited his workshop near Seattle, he was deeply concerned about what he saw. Everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid and saying how cool they were with a Sony PlayStation. And I said at the time, does Sony know that it's being used for this application? Because this is not what it is designed for. There were multiple points of failure. Rush had said that the system inside the Titan sub ran on Bluetooth, but McCollum explained that this was a huge safety issue. Every sub in the world has hardwired controls for a reason. That if the signal drops out, you're not effed, he said. Other experts who worked at OceanGate, including the chief pilot David Lockridge, who later left the company over safety concerns, had described the Titan as a mutt and a lemon that was not safe to drive. Walsh's claim that Interns had created the Titan's electrical system and McCollum's disturbing experience of the workshop where they worked is the latest in several explosive revelations about the concerns surrounding Rush's company. Rush's company had claimed to have worked closely with NASA, Boeing, and the University of Washington on the Titan's design, claims that have been denied by the organizations. Washington State University said last month that they did not have an alliance with OceanGate, but was aware that some of the graduates have worked at OceanGate. Boeing and NASA also denied that they played any role in the Titan's design. However, Sheriff Edmond El-Daib of the LA-based firm El-Daib Ritter Trial lawyers told the Herald that Rush had specifically sought to hire younger people. He reiterated Rush's on-the-record comments that OceanGate head wanted a team partly based on who would do things in a new way due to their youth and optimism. The attorney then asked, was the team ignorant of certain safety concerns or design flaws that an older, experienced engineer would have headed off? And the answer to that question is yes. That is why Stockton Rush sought out young people. That's why he tried to hire young people. It was not about wanting to inspire anyone. It wasn't about diversity and being progressive and, virtue signaling, all of that nonsense. What it was about him not wanting any criticism. When you're a 50-year-old dude designing a sub and you're hiring 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds to work on it, even if they know better, they're probably not going to say anything because they're dealing with someone who's much older and should be more experienced than them. Stockton Rush wanted to surround himself with people who were either yes men or people who didn't know any better. I feel so bad for all of these young individuals who came and worked at OceanGate, whose names will forever be tied to that sub that imploded. I got to imagine that now it's going to be harder for these people to ever find work. I don't know about you, but if I'm at a company, I don't want to hire anyone that worked at OceanGate. You worked on the imploded sub. Why would I want you working on any equipment of mine? Why would I want you working for my company? But you see, Stockton Rush didn't care about these young people. If Stockton Rush really cared about these young people, he would have worked even harder to make sure that that sub was safe. Because Stockton Rush's reputation is not the only one on the line here. All of these young people who have their lives and their entire careers ahead of them are now starting off attached to one of the craziest, most devastating stories we've heard in the last few decades. Now they're forever going to be attached to this catastrophic failure. Do you think Stockton thought about that at all? Maybe. I think that Stockton thought, well, if something goes wrong, I could blame it on all of these young, inexperienced people. People aren't going to blame me, Stockton Rush. They're going to blame all of these people. So, in some weird way, the reality is, while Stockton Rush was out here claiming, I wouldn't hire 50-year-old white people, Stockton Rush, the 60-year-old white man, didn't want to be held accountable for anything that went wrong with his sub, so he hired all of these younger people so they would take the blame and they would take the fall for it. And even after Stockton's death, what's happening right now? Articles like the one we just read are getting released, naming all of the young students who worked on the sub. So Stockton's gone. His future, whatever he had going on, it's over. All of these young people attached to OceanGate, they're still here. And they're having to deal with the heat. And I don't want to view this as a failure on their behalf. I view it as a failure on Stockton's behalf. But at the same time, let this be a learning lesson for everyone. If you're a young person and you feel like you're getting attached to something like this, step away. Or say what you need to say. Document what you have to say. Cover your bases. Cover your ass. Because people like Stockton Rush and these big bosses, they don't care about you. Especially the ones that are like, we're not going to hire 50-year-old white men. We're all about diversity. Those people are bad people, period. When you hear that type of stuff coming out of someone's mouth, you should automatically know that they are not a genuine person. But it is what it is. The sub is imploded. And now these young kids' futures and careers are going to implode. Let me know your thoughts about this, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll be talking to you all in the next video.